You think you got enough album behind you? What do you
I
think, man?
No, I don't. I can always have more.
Okay, what you got back there?
I got everything. You're back here. Everybody's back here. Who do you want to see?
It's impressive, I tell you that. Damn.
Thank, Thanks very much. Well, I love. How about you? Where are you at with vinyl nowadays?
Well, I have all my vinyl collection, but primarily it's in my warehouse. I keep it stored away, you know. I don't use it much anymore,
Right.
but I have it. I've kept it for the years and years and years since the 60s and 70s, you know, and 80s, whatever.
Yeah. And what do you think about the resurgence of vinyl in the
Oh, I
last?
love it. I think it's great. I think it's great that we have so much information that the albums give. The
Right.
love for the big pictures, the love for the nice, who's doing what, and the education of the whole thing is what I love about an album. I was raised also watching records spin.
Right.
I was hypnotized by just watching the record spin. So all that magic and majesty that comes from that turntable is really you can learn more from that than any book.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And of course,
Mhm.
well, I have a cool background, but you have a cool background too. I guess you're joining us from your studio today.
I am in the highest sanctuary of Tarpan Studios control room.
All right.
Yeah, this is the great room where we've made a lot of great hits, but not just the hits. The people who've been here have blessed the air molecules, and I can feel them talk to me all the time. So I'm really, really blessed to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of board is that you're using there?
This is a solid state logic console,
Mm.
which we've had maybe since the 90s, early 90s. Before that was Trident. But this has been a great board. It came in just around the same time as mixing Whitney's second album. I wanted to have somebody who loves me, all that music. So it's been there for quite a while now.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me today, and I have a few questions for you about the new record. Congratulations on it! And
Oh,
the title of the album is called Euphoria. I was thinking about what a cool word euphoria is, and how you don't hear it as often as you think you would. The one occurrence that came to me was Billy Joel's "Summer Highland Falls." He says he uses euphoria there. But what can you tell us about the title of the album, and what do you have to be so euphoric about?
oh man, thank you. The title Euphoria came from my wife, Katie.
Mm,
She said that's a cool word. And I was like, you're right, it is cool. What does it actually mean? I mean, I know what I think it means, but we kind of dug it out. And it's like, the high, the sweat, when you dance, how high you feel, how good you feel.
right.
You put the drums, you feel good. Yeah, man, I just wanted to inspire the world with a high that we love from the 60s, the high we love from the 50s, the high we love from now, to keep
Mm.
it going, like bouncing the ball in the air. And the music I make is to inspire love. It's to inspire goodness in the world. And this is all euphoria to me, the high of life and the best of life.
The first track, "The More I Love My Life," it seems like a very key track on the album, of course, especially considering the contributions of your pals there, Santana, Stevie Wonder, and Sting. And what a start to the album! I was listening to, and I thought, "Oh, hey, slow down, save something for the rest of the record." But it's got a great propulsive beat. It really pushes it along. And tell us about that track, how everything kind of came together there.
Oh, thank you. This track of The More I Love My Life is a bit of a journey because of the staggering talents that are on that song. It first came to my attention through a brother named Carlos Santana. He
Mm.
loves African music, and he'll come by here. He'll bring me a bunch of CDs from Africa, which is really kind of eye-opening. And he'll say to me, "Santana is really African music." I said, "Okay." And so I kind of shuffled through some stuff, and I heard this one melody I really love by Ishmael. I took the same kind of a melody that I heard him singing and kind of did my own thing with it,
Mm.
and got my lyric writer Jeffrey Cohen to put a new spin with me. And I asked Carlos to come and play on that record that I was inspired by something he gave me. He came over here and he's just like played incredible guitar. And I was just so taken by the whole thing. I said, it'd be great to get Stevie on this thing.
Mm.
Yeah. And then I started thinking, I'm gonna be seeing Sting soon in New York for the Rainforest show. I'm music director for. I'll ask him if he'll sing something. So I got hold of Sting and said, would you mind coming in a day early to New York and meet me at Jimi Hendrix's studio and sing something. And he said, sure. And sure enough, he came in the studio and he was so beautiful from Berlin, flying in
Mm.
and just sang that what you're hearing on that record. And I was just very taken by him. He's so professional,
Yeah.
and the harmony he puts and the little things he does. And then when I came back to California, I went to Los Angeles. And Stevie Wonder, who's hard to get, because he's a very busy guy, but he loves me and he made time for me. He came to the Capitol Studios in Los Angeles and brought a big box of his harmonicas
No.
and wanted to know what key I was, wanting him to play in. I play him the record, the track, and he finds the right key. And then when he hears Carlos, it ignited him. There's a first theme on the beginning of the song, like a melody. He plays the melody, really beautiful.
Right.
But I said on the ending, when you hear Carlos going off, bring to it whatever your spirit tells you to bring. And I'm telling you, I think I know how genius Stevie Wonder is. But when he started playing that stuff on the ending, it was off the Richter scale.
Yeah.
It was things I had never even dreamed he'd play. And I said, Stevie, wow, man, you better come and listen back to this. And he listens back to it, and he's like taken in a different world too, by him and Carlos going back and forth kind of thing going on. So it was just like a magical experience that's making this song. And
Yeah.
then I have to say one more component.
Sure.
There's a gentleman out of Italy named Lino Nicolosi and his family. When I met up with them, I decided I wanted to have his infusion in the song too, for the world vibe of the whole thing, the European sensibility into my American and then Africa. And then that's what you're hearing too. His sister on some bass and Lino some guitar and just a little mixture and mixing of it to kind of bring it to now. So it's a big love fest, man.
Yeah, hearing Stevie Wonder's inimitable harmonica on that track was really exciting. And as I said, it is the first. Folks should know it's the first track on the record. So if you're turning it on, whammo, you're gonna hear Stevie right there, and it just keeps building and building. It's really exciting, and you have those two maestros, as you say at the end. Sort of, and you're lucky because they don't step on each other, as you say. They really build off of each other's musical ideas.
That's the love. And that's what real musicians do. They listen to each other. We don't talk about it too much, but the listening aspect is really important. And John McLaughlin, who worked with Miles Davis on Bitches Brew and those records, Silent Way, when I joined the Mahavishnu Orchestra, he taught me, he would say, Michael, listen, just listen,
Mm.
listen. And then I started to understand when you take that time, in there is a whole world, and then you can mirror what the person's doing by what you're hearing and be really complimentary. Yeah,
Right,
it's important.
right.
It's important.
Of course, we're talking about Carlos Santana. He features on this album, and the two of you are have known each other for a long time. He was also a guest on this program, and maybe you could discuss your relationship with him a little bit, but not necessarily with him, but just with these musicians that you've known over the course of your career. It'd be great to go through your iPhone and see who's in
Yeah.
your black book there. Oh, look,
Oh,
I'm
I
putting
like it. I like it.
fireworks. I don't know what happened there.
I
Somebody
like
was
that.
doing that
Oh, I love that.
in a meeting with me the other day. I didn't know I could do it too, but I guess I can.
Oh,
But
I love it.
how have you kind of grown? How have you watched those people grow, and how have they seen you grow together through your respective careers over these years?
I met Carlos in '73.
Yeah.
He was a big superstar even then. To meet him at John McLaughlin's house, he walked out of the kitchen into the living room. There he was. I mean, in my community in Michigan and in college, when we first started hearing his stuff, of course, Woodstock footage, and he was a big star just from the giddy up. And we all loved his cry, his passion, his wisdom that he brings. So, in becoming a friend to him through meditation, through prayer, through our guru Sri Moy at the time, it was just really a highlight of my life, a highlight of my life. To kind of be able to look, at music through his eyes a little bit, what he was loving, what he's hearing, and then John McLaughlin, both together as brothers in friendship.
Right.
Um, and you mentioned about being like now through the years. Now it's the 2024. He's married to Cindy Blackman Santana, the genius drummer. Very influenced by her, and very open to the world as he always has been. Still is vibrant, still is on fire.
Yeah.
He always inspires me. when I'm with Carlos, I don't ask him too many questions. I just listen to him because if I don't interrupt him, he'll go on like a train, like
Right.
a stream of consciousness about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So I've learned the magic of that, just to let him go
Right.
and learn and just learn.
Even and you produced a few tracks on his when the album that he was here to talk to me about, which was his last album. You produced a few tracks on there. I think you did the Stevie Winwood tune and something else.
Yes, I did the Steve Winwood jam, Watershed of Pale, which
Yeah.
I'm very happy to have Stevie Sting singing in the original key on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a monster and just incredible talent since he's been 16 years old singing Give Me Some Lovin' with Spencer Davis Group,
Yeah.
phenomenal gift. Like Ray Charles coming out of the UK as a kid.
I know. I
We
know.
couldn't believe the gift. We couldn't believe his gift. And then
It's
going on and making it all over again with Traffic, how funky and soulful, and the Low Spark of High Hills boys, with Jim Capaldi on drums and all that. Just he's always had a way of being the cutting edge. Then when I'm with Whitney Houston, Whitney went through a little low on the third album, a little depression. And I said, well, what can I cut for you that make you happy on this third album? She
mm,
goes, well, I love that Steve Winwood, Shaka Khan, Higher Love. I said, okay. When I came back from New York after that visit, I came back to my studio and I put together Higher Love for Whitney,
see.
based upon her love for Steve Winwood. So Steve Winwood's coming through as strong again. So anyway, I'm letting you know that having Steve and Carlos on that song, Why They Should Have Pale, was a big deal for my heart and for Carlos too.
Yeah. Well, that's
Mhm.
interesting. You know, I saw just today, I saw a quote from Steve Winwood. He was talking about his first album, and he was
Okay.
explaining that his first album didn't do so well, and that there was a lot riding on that second album
Mhm.
of his. And he said, you know, if the second album didn't hit, that was it. I was going to be a taxi cab driver or something like
Mhm.
that, you know.
Mhm.
And it made me think, since I knew I was speaking to you today, and I knew you produced him a little later in his career, but it made me think, you know, that was something that was leading up, of course, to your connection with him later in his career as well.
Yeah, and I have to also say when I think about Steve Winwood, I got to think about Hendrix because Steve Winwood played the most magnificent organ on the Voodoo Child with Jimmy, the
That's right.
live jam on that Electric Ladyland album. Damn.
Yeah,
So I just have so much respect for him. You also mentioned Carlos's album. There's a song on there we did called "Song for Cindy."
that's right.
That is a stellar jam that is for his beloved. How beautiful she is, and she just brought us this romantic melody, romantic feeling. And then again, I've asked Lino to make a remix of it, which will be coming out this month, I think, of that same song. But this time we put into it from Run DMC, Daryl McDaniels to do some rapping with Carlos guitar and a new track on that same song, Song for Cindy. It's just
Oh,
gorgeous. And it's called Let the Guitar Play. So look out for it. Let the guitar play.
will
Hmm.
do. I will keep
Yeah.
my eyes peeled for sure. You know, even though you're strutting your musician chops on the new record, you're also obviously well known for your many years of celebrated production work. And it's one thing to apply these production skills to other artists, but what's it like kind of producing yourself? You know, how is that experience different producing, you know, you the musician?
I don't take that kind of credit as producing myself so much. What I do is I really rely upon my own heart, yes, my own spirit, my own mind, my own body, my own energy, yes. But then I have around me people who I really admire, my engineering staff of Jimmy Reitzel, David Frazier, some hot programmer cats may use here locally, Justice Dobrin or Jackson Allen, to kind of help me bounce my ideas. I've always been that way. I bounce my ideas. Kim Rima, who runs my studio. What do you think about this? Yeah, it's cool. Then I brought in on this particular project Lino Nicolosi, that he'd bounce these ideas with me. So I'm just always bouncing and just asking God what I should do. On this particular album, also, I have to give credit to my wife again because she wrote some lyrics in this album with me. So we kind of put our love together or to make sure I'm bringing the love into the world. This is my job. My name is Narada Michael Walden. Narada, I want to bring love to the world. If it's over now, I want to feel like I did my very best to do that. Playing the drums, sweating, giving it all. Like the things I loved when I was a kid. Little Richard, he was so open.
Mhm.
Hendrix, open. Ray Charles, open. The Beatles, open. And when I love is bam. I want to be that guy that just always can bring something good to the world. That's my vibe.
And you mentioned Lino Nicolosi many
Yeah.
times. He was the producer, co-producer on this album, and there are a lot of Nicolosis on this album. As you mentioned, his sister is playing bass, but the name comes up several times in the liner notes. Yeah,
Yeah. His family is very gifted. So what it is, it's Lena on guitar and his wife Dora does some beautiful harmonization, singing type and things in the background, operatic style. A brother plays some keyboards, beautiful Fender Rhodes type stuff.
mm-hmm.
And then his sister, I call it the secret weapon, on the bass, just kicking some serious bass. So I kind of stumbled into the family through Billy Cobham of all people. Billy was making an album with them, and I was asked to Lena would I sing on a track. I said, "Shoot, man, Billy Cobham, my hero."
Yeah.
So heard the track. It was funky as Mad Dog. It had live horns kicking, and I put my vocal on it, like a Marvin Gaye type thing. And it's now up for one of the Grammy contentions, contenders. And I just kind of felt like maybe I'll do more work with Lino. So that's what happened.
Very
Yeah. So
cool. And he's
yeah.
based in Italy. You did some of the recording in his studio in
No,
Italy?
no, all my stuff was done here in my beautiful Tarpan studios. And then I would send my things to him. He would add in what he wants to add, send it back to me in a mixed form. I would make my little comment. And that's how we made the album really quickly. I didn't want to take a long time doing it. I
Right.
don't do much hanging out, taking a long time doing stuff. I believe the spirit when it's burning, like this candle. Sorry,
Sure.
you know, like when it's burning, get it,
Yeah.
because I know once the candle goes out, it's gone.
Right.
So all the singers I work with, I work quickly. I'll get the ending part first, the spirit part first, before I ever go get technical on the first verse and wake the mind up. Because once the mind wakes up, it'll judge everything and slow everything down.
Mm.
So I try to beat the mind. So if I cut something quick, sing it quick, work it quick, da 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 da, you can get it while the spirit's there. That's what I want.
So
Because
that
you can always pitch something, make something more in tune, but you can't bring the emotion. Mhm.
So that's a tip. That's a trick. You would work backwards occasionally with people,
Yes,
or work from back to
all the
front.
time, all the
Really?
time, all the time. If I'm writing a song, I write the hook first, the punchline first, the joke,
Mm.
and then weave into how I'm going to get to the punchline. Because if I'm the other way around, if I'm just wandering, have no focus, no title, no chorus, it may never come,
Right.
and then
No
I'm flat.
direction. Right.
So and we're in a world now that's really fast. It was always fast since the Motown days, and Stevie Wonder. All it's been fast. Holland Dozier Holland, even Burt Bacharach with all dealing fast, but it's even faster now. We want that hook now, and if they ain't got a hook or chorus, next station, next record, next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we're all guilty of that a little bit. How do you right? We want to hear it in the first 30 seconds, even if
Yeah.
I'm listening to something. Oh, come on. I'm doing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But how do you? Obviously, you have such a body of work behind you, and you have a very clear understanding of what did make a hit, what makes a hit. But you've been able to see the transition through the years. Aside from the speed, what else do you see? In production or just general music production in the 21st century here that you like or maybe that you're not so crazy about?
I'm always a student of the music. That's what I say. I I'm trying to learn by everything. Like, what planet are we on?
Right.
What planet is okay? This is Earth planet. Okay, cool. What's Earth really into at this time? You know what I mean? Oh,
Right.
bass drums are strong on Earth right now. Bass 808 tune bass is strong right now. Not even a lot of movement in the bass, just a boom.
Right.
Oh, that's what they like right now. So I'm really a student of where the people are at, where the temperature gauge is. And then I'll take my melody, my song, and plug it into that as a producer.
Mm.
So the song is one thing, like the baby. You birth the baby, you wash the blood out the baby, you cut the umbilical cord. Then the production is more how we're going to dress the baby for the world, where the world's at. So I'm aware of both things: to love the baby, the song, and then how to produce the baby for the world. Oh, right now we're not wearing too many clothes. It's more. It's a bikini world. It's a
Right.
bikini world. You got to kind of understand where the world's at, man, so you can catch the right timing, the right wave. It's important.
Some producers are not musicians at all, obviously.
Yes.
And however, you're a multi-instrumentalist. What do you think some of the pros and cons are of a producer being a musician or not?
Well, the cats who I most admire are like me. They play something and they speak the music. Maybe they don't speak it in such musical terms all the time, but they know the music. Mm. Now, let me be really clear about this. There are some producers who are just engineers and they're a genius.
Mm.
Then there are some producers who are like me, who come from the music side of playing. And then there's cats like this who look at George Martin, the Beatles producer.
Sure.
He's a bit of an engineer and he's a bit of a musician, so he's both.
Right.
So I really resound to the wisdom of something of both, but really the music. Because George Martin could go to the piano with me and take my chord changes and write a string quartet to a song.
Right. Right.
So I like that wisdom. He was the first person I really worked with as a producer, just to watch him twice with Bob Vision Orchestra Apocalypse album and Wire Jeff Beck twice. Then I worked with Tommy Dowd on my first solo album, The Genius with Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin, to see what he would do and his magical compression as an engineer, but also new music. So I'm going to just let you know that I want to really admire those who can bring some music education, because if I was a musician, I couldn't have made it the way I have in a way.
Right.
It was the fact that I knew music enough where I could sing to Aretha Franklin, the connecting line that would make this part go to that part, to Aretha Franklin or to Whitney Houston. Try this idea. Try that. You have to be able to be quick on your feet to try something with these quick racehorses who are geniuses, and they're looking at you. What you gonna do?
Right.
So you have to have something to say to them. Try this. Try that. Bring in the background singers here. Da, 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 da. And to that degree, I learned the trick about this. Every major record I've made as a producer now, I would make a blueprint before I'd ever see the artist. I cut the whole thing. Lead vocal, background vocals, every bit of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that when I got with a singer, they would sing it. But if we got into a thing that wasn't going to really fit or didn't really work, I knew what else would work. That would save me in time, energy, and making a hit, quite frankly.
Yeah. Options. You could speak their own language, and you gave them some options.
Yes. And one more thing I'm going to say about being a drummer. I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
I think the drummers have an upper hand because pop records have been going more and more this way since even the 60s, are rhythm oriented. Yeah, we like melody. Yeah, we like a lyric. But if the phrasing and the feeling is not a certain way, it's lost some power.
Right.
Yeah. So the rhythm aspect is really critical right now for not only the drum, the track, but how a person phrases it vocally.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because this, and again, our listeners should understand, this is a very danceable record. There's a lot of danceability happening on this album. And, maybe it's a little silly question, but I don't think so. Especially considering that you're a drummer, how do you sort of, what are some architectural ways that you get something really happening on a danceable track that isn't just doesn't start here, and how do you sort of develop that? What have you learned over the years about getting butts out on the dance floor with something that you've produced?
Mm-hmm. Well, in '78, disco came on hot. And to save my career, like Steve Winwood's second album had to save his career, to save my album, my career, my third album, I had to have a disco hit, a dance hit. So I had to really study dance music. I mean, I knew dance, Cold Sweat, James Brown, dance.
Right.
But then the disco craze, and what people really wanted to go out and party, I had to really kind of get my hand, okay, what is that? It's four on the floor, based on four on the floor. But then other things have to move accordingly with that to make it not be like stiff and be cool, where you want to have a drink, have your smoke, whatever, and be cool with it. Right. And then what the vocals got to do with it. So I had to be a student again just to learn that. Bob Clearmountain Sound at Power Station helped me with the fidelity. But look at Narada with Chic, with Good Times. That was an important record. Rick James, You and I. These are all important encyclopedic things that we need as producers and writers and artists to know how we get this thing going.
Right.
Even the Bee Gees had to change it up with Aretha Franklin to get into like Saturday Night Fever, you know, all the rhythmic things they got into. So what am I saying to you? Study, listen. The best thing to do I can tell anybody is just listen and steal, borrow, because it's all been done. But what you can do is be a new way of making the gumbo. Take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and how you put it together makes it something kind of fresh. See what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, that's where it's at. And always lay on that course. Lay on that course. Yeah, man. Don't be ashamed of it. That's why, as quiet as it kept, Taylor Swift is huge. That chick is a very funky chick, man. We don't talk about it. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna talk about it. Listen to her body of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, she comes from country, but then she crossed out. She's got so much rhythm in her. She's drawing all these hooks.
Right.
Cruel Summer. All these little things she's doing rhythmically that are hooking you without you even thinking about it.
Right.
So I have to give her a lot of credit for that.
On hooks. Hooks on hooks.
That's why she's huge. Well, how did she become so damn huge?
All right.
Yeah, man.
Right. That's interesting what you said about laying on the chorus. Like when in doubt, go back to that chorus. I mean, but it's funny that you say that. You know, don't be ashamed of it, because I think songwriters may feel, right, I don't want to overdo the chorus. You know, I don't want to overdo a certain part.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't agree. I think if something's good, give it to him. Give it to him, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, the world's spinning fast now, and it's calculated. Hits are calculated. You know, when Prince wanted to go from the first album, which didn't really hit for him really big, then he wanted to make it really big for the second album. What did he do? I want to be your dun, 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 dun. Want to be the only one you come for. You know, and getting that groove happening. Even Sexy Dancer, those songs, then evolving into Purple Rain, evolving, but always giving the people what they can latch on to. When Sly and Family Stone first came out, they weren't hot. Then Sly Stone was okay. Dance to the music, dance. You know,
that
even
did it.
Journey on the white pop funk side coming through with Don't Stop Believing, Hook.
Yeah,
Aretha Franklin when she discovered Better Leave Jazz Alone, Want to Have a Hit. Respect, Chain of Fools. Natural Woman. Those are all songs that you could like sing and grab onto.
Right.
So all I'm saying, man, is just it's nothing new. It's just love your babies, have your baby, love it, wash the blood off, cut the cord, and then as a producer, think, well, what does it need to make it in the world today to be competitive? Because it is competitive. The only top 10 spots you want to fit in one of those slots.
Yeah.
And what's going to do that? If it's a little more top end in the fidelity, a little more bottom end in the kick, do that. But make sure you got a hook to shine up.
You need the hook.
Yes. The Temptations needed My Girl.
Right. Baby Let's Go is a favorite track of mine, and it's got a rap section there performed by Dear Silas. Yeah, am I saying that right?
Silas. Dear Silas.
Okay, I'll say that again. Performed by Dear Silas. And can you tell us about that one? It what he did fits in very well in that track. He's a fun track.
He's a genius. Dear Silas is a genius. He came by my studio because he took a sample of a record of mine called Baby Come to Me. Baby Come to Me.
Right.
'Cause I love you. You got it going on. And you're turning me on. Baby Come to Me. It was first cut by Regina Bell.
Yeah.
And it was hit for her. So he loved it as a kid. And he took it, now he's an adult, and kind of just sampled part of it and made this cool groove of it, and then did a rap on it and came to my studios because I always said, I want to play you this, what I'm doing for your blessing. And I said, man, it's cool what you're doing. You're really creative.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked his wife, Cookie. She was there so sweet. And when he was here, I said, you know what? Now that you're here, why don't I play something I'm working on? Maybe you can put a rap on what I'm doing. And I played him, Baby, Let's Go. And he said, let me have the track. I'll see what I can do with it. And he sent back to me that rap you hear.
Right.
Yeah. So he's just a really gifted cat, man. And he's always on Instagram, the Facebook, posting his most recent, things.
Yeah.
Talking to himself in the mirror, talking back to himself. Just really creative. Yeah, I give him a lot of love. Dear Silas.
Cool.
Dear Silas. And Snoop Dogg loves him, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
When you look back at this album here, what resonates with you? Was there a track or a moment, a musical, or maybe a whole song that you really look back at the project and you say, "Wow, that's really the ultimate euphoric moment of euphoria."
Two things, I think. One, when you mentioned Euphoria, the closing theme of Euphoria Part Two.
Mm,
There's a song called Euphoria, but then it gets into this thing I purposely put like a bitch's brew moment where it kind of gets out there in the galaxies, where I asked Carlos to play again and go out there. And Frank Martin on the keyboards is playing Herbie-esque, Herbie Hancock type keyboards to make you feel like, well, what's going on here?
right.
So I like that. I like taking a pop song, Euphoria, a pop song, but then just flipping it out. Where now, if you're in a club, it's meant to be like the stars and universe all of a sudden appear, and you can just go out there. I like that. So that's a high moment for me where Carlos is playing, and I do a little drum solo at the end too. I like that. I also have to say there's a song called "So Beautiful," um, where I can sing in my upper range, my falsetto range, like Prince, like Smokey Robinson. I like that range. It's nice to sing there for me, and that's a beautiful song. So I don't know, man. I don't have the album here in front of me to kind of remind me of everything on there, but there's a lot of love in it. I know that.
A lot of
And I
love for
hope that people
sure.
can dig it. And I know now it's January, so now we're gonna like kind of like bring new life to this whole thing and talk about it again, like we're doing now, which I so appreciate your time.
Oh, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Thank you. And you know what? Well, it is. You're right. It is the beginning of a new year as we talk
Yeah.
here. Even if someone listens to this interview 10 years from now,
Mm.
um, uh, what are some of the plans for the year, even beyond the album, production work or musical directing? What's on the schedule in the next few months? Where
Oh
can
man,
people
I
see you?
don't I'm a fresh baby in the world today. I'm coming in today, finishing working on an album for an artist named Mist, Mist. Look out for her. And then I'm going to be working with Carlos again, Carlos Santana and his wife Cindy. I'm working on some new music for them. I love working with them. I want to just do something with John McLaughlin, who I adore. And I'm open to really whatever the universe wants to bring me in this year, 2024. This is a very special year. I was just watching Cat Williams talk to Shannon Sharp and this big interview on the internet where he's just talking about everything. And one thing he said that really hit me, he said, this year, 2024, is the truth.
Hmm.
The truth got to come out and the strong in this year. So I'm really open to the truth. Whatever God wants to use me for, I'm here in this beautiful facility and I'm swinging for the fences. So I'm really, really excited for this year. I really feel it's going to be a good year for everybody who really wants to do good. We're the ground is ripe. The time is here. And kind of like harkening back to the flower child period of innocence in a way. Love is trying to come through again.
Hmm.
It's trying to come through. And the springtime, we're going to see it even more when everything starts blossoming again. Love is trying to come back through. And there are those who are even younger than you and I who will help it come through. The kids.
Right.
They're going to help love come back through again. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling it strong. So I'm really hopeful and happy for this year.
Well, we're starting off with euphoria and we're ending with the truth. So, I mean,
You're good. You're good.
we
You're
can't
good.
get much better.
You're good, man.
Well, very good. Listen, I really appreciate your time. It's a really fun record that you made. I mean, and the body of work that you've worked on. I have a real soft spot for Whitney Houston and those records. And I thank you for the fabulous work that you put in. I'd love to talk to you about that forever, and it would be fun to talk to you again a little bit about that a little further one of these days.
Whatever you'd like, man. I gotta say, when you say you have a soft spot for Whitney, so do I.
Yeah.
Because she was just so beautiful in every way. She really was an angel, and God let me work with her. I'm so proud He did, and I almost turned down working with her.
Mm,
I was so working on the Aretha Franklin "Who's in the Who" Freeway album that when I got the phone call from Jerry Griffith to work with her, I said no, and he had to talk me into it. And
interesting.
I'm glad he did. And we said the one thing he said, you know, Sissy Houston, it's her daughter.
Right. You had to. Yeah, he
I had to go
was.
back, man. I go, wait a minute, wait a minute. Because Sissy sang on my first solo album, Garden Love Light.
Ah,
It was a little 11-year-old girl in the corner. I was like, that was Whitney Houston as an 11-year-old girl. So when I met her on How I Know session, she's 19. When she walked in, it'd make your jaw drop.
Mm,
She was so beautiful. And forget the microphone. It was her toy. What you hear on How I Know was effortless for her.
right.
Effortless. So much so that when she came in the control room to hear the playback, if you're me and I'm Whitney, she stared at me like this, all that sound blaring of
Hmm.
How I Know, and she looked at me like this, like, can you hear that? Do you hear that? I was like, damn, she's so confident.
She knew. She's a Jersey girl. She was a Jersey girl.
She is. She is.
She didn't kid around. I wanted to get the album that you guys worked to get. The first one is was reissued by Mobile Fidelity recently. I guess it had a remaster or something. I didn't. It was reissued on vinyl, and I didn't. I didn't get it, but I really wanted it. Did you? Were you aware of that? Or did they
I got
talk
a
to you about
package
that?
of stuff. I got a package from the estate of a couple of albums, of the couple first albums. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Her first album?
Her first record, and then the '87 one they also did recently, which
Yeah.
I don't know if it shipped. I think it shipped out, but I really wanted to pick a copy of that up.
Okay. Okay. Well, man, her stuff is there for all time. And I must tell you one last thing upon closing. We would pray in the studio before the making of every song for it to be blessed and live forever. As a producer and her as the artist, we wanted to make things that were going to last forever. It wasn't just a momentary thing. We wanted to make the sounds
Yeah,
that would always sound good, you know?
right.
Yeah.
And you needed that help. You needed that extra support,
Yes, that's right, brother. That's
right?
right.
We
Yes.
do. We all do, right?
All of us. And we can have it if we want it. We got to be humble to ask.
Oh, you make it sound so easy.
Okay.